Hello everybody, it's me Carmine DiStefano, the Bookman, here with Rockasite.com, and I'm going to show you how you can create your own Blogger Lite clone with CodeIgniter. Now, just so you know, a little bit of an introduction onto myself. I am the Bookman. I do movie and video game reviews here on YouTube on my other channels, CD the Bookman, CD Bookman Gaming, other things like that. But I decided to get involved in web development and different types of website building and everything like that, utilizing CodeIgniter and other frameworks that we'll be getting into, other languages other than PHP, of course, because for years I've been building websites from scratch, and Rockasite is my own endeavor, my own personal company, so I would like to get that pushed, and I would like to help everybody out with very thorough and very comprehensive tutorials here on YouTube or wherever else it will be. So anyway, what is CodeIgniter exactly, and what are we going to put together? As you can see with this changing footage right here in front of your face of all these video game women and stuff like that, this is just the landing page. But we're going to get into all this different terminology and everything like that when it comes to web development. Now, what CodeIgniter is, it's a PHP Hypertext Protocol framework. It is a lightweight framework, which, just so you know, when you're dealing with me, I have certain definitions myself of these things. Lightweight framework equals heavyweight capacity for you. What a lightweight framework is, it's a framework that's basically sort of a very leveled down footprint for you to kind of take your first step and walk through. There are some implementations here on CodeIgniter that you have built in. There are some that are built in that are very clunky, and there's a lot that you have to do on your own. So what I'm going to try to do for all of you, we're going to start with a very simple site, just a few pages. We're going to be doing everything in our own CSS, no Tailwind, no Bootstrap, none of that garbage. We're going to make it ourselves. We're going to do our own HTML, obviously, and we're going to do our own back-end PHP programming as well as our own front-end JavaScript programming. And it's going to be pure JavaScript. No jQuery, Vue, none of that. This is stripped down, man. We're doing everything on our own. So now you know what CodeIgniter is more or less, and you'll find out what JavaScript and CSS and HTML are, just so that you know before we get started. If you want to follow with this, it's not really a tutorial, it's kind of like a project. It's a project we're going to do together. If you want to follow with this, you should have a basic understanding of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and PHP. If you don't know any of these things, you should probably watch tutorials of other people that will go through step by step from the beginning, and maybe eventually, if you like these videos, I'll give you my take on how quickly you can learn these different types of coding, programming. HTML, CSS is coding, JavaScript, PHP more or less is programming. And I could show you the basics, get you started, so that these projects will make more sense. You also need to know what XAMPP or XAMPP are. You also need to know what certain text editors are. But let me just give you a little brief show of what we're going to be doing here. So this, of course, is our landing page, as I said before, where you can sign in and you can put in your username, you can put in your password, and I'll just put everything in there for you so you get an idea of what we're looking at. You go in there, you have your little blogs, you can make new ones here, and whatever, you can type things in, it'll have validation, all this other stuff. You can just go back here, you have your own profile, where if you're on your account and everything and you want to look at your own profile, you can edit your profile, you can change things up here, get a new picture here, you can also look at your posts, you can see who created them, and then you could comment, and the comments just poop, they just pop right up. Of course, we're going to fix this, but we're going to get into all of these different things. And, oh, by the way, don't forget, you have a live, whoops, that's not good. Well, anyway, we're going to look at that later. So, let me just see if it works out. There you go. So you have a live search bar and everything. So we'll go into the styling, we'll go into the program, we're going to go into all that stuff. And we'll start it with the next video. Actually, let's get into the actual downloading of these things and how you set up the project, and then we'll get into how to put together your landing page. So let's start with the downloads. Downloads real easy. You know how to download, go to different sites and everything that I'm going to show you is free because I'm cheap and I like to not pay for anything. So you don't have to worry about paying for anything when you do this, okay? So what I'm going to use for this project is I'm going to use XAMPP or XAMPP, which is an online free Aptana Unix server. It's a virtual server, so you don't have to buy a server. You don't have to go to GoDaddy or whatever. We'll just use this free one. It's right here. Now, I'm not going to download it again because I'm not going to download it again. So I'm just going to show you where to go. You go to XAMPP, like that, and in here you see Apache. That's what it is. Well, Aptana was one of Apache's text editors. We're not going to use that. We're going to use something completely different. And as you can see, it's a MariaDB PHP Perl server. And you download that. Download for Windows or Linux or Mac, whichever one you have. I have Windows, so everything that we're doing is going to be in evil Windows. Not a fan of Microsoft, but I use Windows because their machines are better. It's just the way it is. So download that, and when you're done downloading that, you can pause the video if you want. When you're done downloading your XAMPP, XAMPP, you can also use LAMP, you can also use WAMP. I don't use any of those things, but that's not what's important. What's important is that you have one of these online servers, these free online servers. Once you have one of those free PHP online servers, MySQL we'll be using, by the way, and I'll show you what to do with that, you should then download a text editor. And the text editor we're going to be using is Virtual Studio. Virtual Studio Code is also Microsoft, so you'd think I'd be a big Microsoft guy. I despise Microsoft, but they have free stuff and it's pretty damn good. So you go to Virtual Studio Code, and you download your Visual Studio Code, not Virtual Studio Code. My fault. You download this, and as you can see in the home page right here, they show you all the different extensions. Are they extensive? That you can download to make your coding easier. So I have downloaded it, installed it. It's here. And I've gone to, if you go to this little thing here, where are you? This little thing here, extensions, you could just look up anything you want. You can look up JavaScript, and you get a live updated, oh, maybe I should download some of these. You get a live updated search, and you could just install, just keep installing things. Like, I'm not even sure what I've installed. I've installed so many different things. You can go to PHP, and then you get all these extensions. Now you see I installed debug, IntelliVent, I don't even know what that is, extension pack, server. I just downloaded everything. And I could probably download even more. I don't know. I probably won't, though, but leave it the way it is. That's just me. You can download all you want. CSS, of course, we're going to be using that. HTML, CSS, IntelliSense, all these other things that I've downloaded, JS, CSS, HTML. This basically just gives you the ability to sort of have extensions and sort of have tags and whatever just pop up for you, so you don't have to type the whole thing in 1,000 times over, because we're going to be doing a lot of repetitive coding. I know that's against the law in tech world, and I know that it's against the techie religion, but whether or not they want to admit it, excuse me, even if you're using frameworks or things that are sort of more intuitive, you're going to be doing a lot of repetitive coding when you're building things from scratch. That's law. That's just how things work. So get used to retyping things. And I like to retype things because it makes it easier for you to remember than just copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. Although we might be using some copy, paste in some circumstances. Then you go to HTML and make sure that you get all your HTML snippets. Now, again, in the future, we're going to be doing things with different PHP frameworks. We're going to be doing things with Python frameworks. Well, Django. We're going to be doing things with Ruby on Rails. So I might not be using this specifically, but if you wanted to, you can order their Python extensions. There are a million extensions here. You could just keep downloading them, get all the extensions you want, and then when you're done playing around with that, we are then going to have to download CodeIgniter, which is CodeIgniter.com. Pop. And CodeIgniter is right here. It's not one of my favorites. I'll go into other frameworks, other PHP frameworks that I like. It's just, there's so many different ways that it doesn't work for me, but you'll see. We'll get into its limitations. Go to download. Download 4. We're doing CodeIgniter 4. Quattro. Okay, we're not doing 3, and we're definitely not doing 2. So download 4. What you most likely will get is you will get, again, I'm not downloading it again. You will get a zip file. Hey, stop looking at my files. Mind your business. You will get a zip file in your downloads. Where are my, this PC, damn it, downloads, okay. So you will get a zip file, this one right here. So what we're going to do is, now that I don't need this anymore, let me close that out. Get out of here, you. All right, so let's change this up. I'm showcasing what I'm going to be doing on my gaming channel and my main channel with all that download shit. So also I have a very foul mouth, so if you're sensitive towards foul language in English, just be careful. I was going here, and I was going here. So this is your XM folder, by the way. And the one we're going to be doing everything in is going to be in the HT docs, HTML documentation. I'm going to change this. This is just going to be used for me for reference. Nothing else. I'm just going to call this something else, Jacker, whatever, I don't care. That's me. You don't have to worry about doing that. You won't have anything in there. So when you have all this downloaded, and again, pause the video so you can get it downloaded, we are then going to go to our downloads, as I said, and we're going to go to the framework itself. And again, the framework is just a series of classes built to make things more objectified, so you can just kind of reference things and put things in specific manners and whatever. It's a lot better than doing everything line by line, which is what I used to do, trust me. So frameworks are good for you. They are low-calorie, low-fat diets that make you feel healthy. Anyway, so just click on that and extract all. And we're going to go to HT docs, we're right where we want to be, and we're going to call this, let me see, we'll just do this, and we're going to extract. So it'll extract all the files. There's a lot of files. If you ever wanted to make a framework on your own, I know how to get you started. After that, the implementations are on you. So remember that. People don't make frameworks by themselves typically. People make frameworks in groups. So it's something you can do. Everything you can do on your own. You don't have to do things my way. You can do it your own way. And the folder that is extracted, we're going to rename Thacker. Blogger, Thacker, get it? And we're going to name it Thacker because why the fact not? So that's Thacker. So now we go here. And if you did everything right, don't worry, I won't roll my R's every time. It's just something I do. You will then go here. Let me just turn this off for a sec. Close that. See what I'm doing? Do that when you want to close it down. You go to, when everything's installed, XAMPP's installed, Visual Studio is installed, the CodeIgniter is ready to go. Once that's all done, okay, you go to XAMPP. You go here to the control panel. You're going to right-click it if you're using Windows. Go to More. Run as administrator because it's very sensitive towards whether or not you're the administrator. Say yes. Then you hit Start on Apache, Start on MySQL. Now, if you look, my port says 80. I always get gate 80. Are we there yet? My port says 80. That's going to be an issue, but we're going to get into that when we do the setup. So if you see that, you start it up and everything like that. Once that's done, we go to localhost, Thacker, public. Localhost, Thacker, the name of the file, public, the name of that file. That's what it's going to be looking for. Now, again, you can do Spark or whatever virtual server where you're not going to need the localhost, Thacker, public. It'll just be localhost, and that'll be your base URL. For me, with XAMPP or XAMPP, it will be localhost, Thacker, public, pop, and you'll see this. So now we are ready to go. We are ready to make things, and we are going to make things. When I start showing you what we're doing with this project, how we're going to make this project, I'm somewhat excited because, I'm not a big CodeIgniter fan. I'm excited to get this out of the way. I've done this site 4 times. I'm tired of it, so I want to get rid of it so we can do other things with better frameworks for me. So that's how you get started with CodeIgniter 4. That's how you get started with your Thacker project or whatever you want to call it. So I will be back for more when we get into the landing page and and how we're going to actually set this thing up. So I will see you then. So be alert.